Good morning, welcome to another video with a guy and his projects. We are continuing on the Jeep WJ. This is a 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee, 4.7 liter, Quadratec, 4 all-time, 4 low option, whatever, who cares. This thing went on the road yesterday for the first time. Well, first road trip. I've taken on some trips around the block from one freeway exit to the next. But yesterday we actually went on a 45-minute trek down the road to get a new windshield. Beautiful windshield, love having a clean windshield. Well, on that road some things were identified. One, we need a fuel filter, which is also a regulator. So we're going to be doing that probably not today because I'm on a time limit today. We also got some clunks in the back end. So when the suspension cycles, something's clunking. We got to look into that. I haven't even started to look at that. I do know that there's quite a bit of rust in the back end. The sway bar links seem tight. I checked those before, no issue. So I got to look into that. But the front side is doing some, what I'm hoping is CV clickety-clackities. And so we're going to replace the CV axles today. I'm not 100% sold that they're bad, but either way, the boots are shredded on the driver's side. They're old. They definitely don't look like they've been replaced. So they're probably factory. So we're going to go ahead and pull those out and replace them. They're pretty cheap, actually. Cheap is relative, I get that, but they were fairly cheap. We also have the front bearings wheel hub assemblies on this. Those I definitely don't think are bad, so I didn't buy any. The local auto parts store by me has one, and then there's another store about 25 minutes down the road that also has one. So if we pull this apart, decide we need them, I'll run, grab those real quick. Well, we gotta make that determination somewhat early because I've got an alignment scheduled later this morning, and I have to have this assembled and running to drive down to the alignment shop. So let's try and get that done real quick. Of course, I will link these below. Again, I apologize. It is a 19-degree morning, and we've got the Mr. Heater running because it's freaking cold outside. You may notice I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm actually just a little bit chilly. We just fired this up about 15 minutes ago before I took the tires off and lifted the Jeep, and it's already fairly comfortable in here. I don't quite have goosebumps, but I'm almost at goosebumps. But standing in front of the heater, the hoodie was way too hot. So I've already taken the tires off while I was waiting for that heater to warm up a little bit. The CV axles are going to be right back here. That's your CV axle boot. It's going to run from here all the way down to the differential. Same with this side on the driver's side. You have your boot right here, and then that. I am going to be replacing tie rods, but they're actually fairly decent for right now, so they're going to stay. Those also look pretty new. I mean, not new. Those also look pretty old. I'm guessing a lot of stuff was just never changed on this Jeep, which is fine. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to refurbish this, and this is going to be my driver. So when I do tie rods, I'm also going to do the ball joints. I was going to wait and hold off on the alignment till then, but the alignment's pretty bad. I need it done now because we just bought these Blizzaks for the winter driving, and I want those done now. Also, we're going to end up doing the control arms, all the control arms on this thing, but again, unless that's my clunking in the rear end, I'm going to hold off on that probably till spring. So I need to find the clunking because I hate the clunking. Once I find the clunking, whatever that is will be fixed, and then we're probably going to hold off and slow down until spring because I'm going to fluid film, not a sponsor, the entire undercoat of this. And once that's on there, I don't want to spray it off, and I don't want to touch anything because it's going to be gross. So yeah, once I get this thing where it's not bumping, clunking, clanging, and all that, we're going to hold off till spring on the rest of it and then just drive it. So all that said, let's just get started. And yeah, I'm trying to keep my back to the heater because the mic's right here. I'm hoping that keeps most of the noise down. I guess I will find out during the editing process. But remember, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, subscribe, check out my other videos. Got a whole playlist on the Jeeps. I've got 4 Jeeps at the moment, and I've done plenty of work on almost all of them. So stay tuned. There's more coming. There's more there. Check them out. And tons of other vehicles are on there too. So that all helps me, which in turn, if this video helps you, it helps you. So keep the support coming. I'll keep the videos coming. All right. So first things first, actually this isn't necessarily first things first, but we're gonna pull this cotter pin out and get this lock nut off of the CV axle. I'm gonna do that now. If you have somebody in the cab that can hold the brakes, this won't spin. If you have an impact like I do, you should be able to pull this off without it spinning. If you absolutely need to and you're on the ground, just grab a 2x4, slide it down through here and jam it on the ground, and then you can use your breaker bar and turn it, and it shouldn't unless you break. This shouldn't turn unless you slip the 2x4 or, you know, behemoth break it. So that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that, remove this, remove the nut behind it, and then our CV axle should theoretically be free. So once we get to the point of pulling that out, we just pull it out. But let me grab some tools. All right, so we have this cotter pin. I'm just gonna grab it, and our new one came with a new cotter pin. I really hope having the mic on my chest right now is blocking the sound of that heater. If it's not, I really apologize. But I'm not working out here in 19 degrees, and I don't know how else to do audio unless I do a voiceover, and people don't typically like those, so you're going to be popping. This is going to come off just fine. I even bought a socket to fit that because I didn't know what kind of situation we were getting into. Okay, so there's that. This little cap comes off. This one has a little washer apparently. And let me go figure out what size I need for that. All right, 36 millimeters seems to fit this nut, so we're gonna see how easy this comes off. Oh yeah, like butter, no problem. Next thing we're gonna tackle is our caliper. So let me grab, I think that's an 18 millimeter. Okay, as far as removing your caliper goes, you can either remove this and then remove your bracket, or if you want to, just remove your entire bracket assembly. That's going to be my attempt, so this all comes out as one assembly. Because I'm lazy and that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to attempt to do. Problem is these brake lines get in the way and make that kind of difficult to get in there. So maybe we can get a wrench. So we're going to try and break this loose with this wrench. Ouchie, that hurts. Let's grab a little leverage. Just like so. Switch to our speed wrench. Well, you guys couldn't even see what I just did there, huh? Essentially all I just did, this is an 18 millimeter. I just took a 17 millimeter and locked it in like that, and that gave me enough leverage to push up. For those that didn't see that wanted to. So I'll find a good spot to hang your caliper, which I guess is going to be over here, probably in our way later, but whatever. So at this point you're free. You can take the whole rotor if it doesn't come, but with my experience that'll fall on your toes later. So go ahead and attempt to just break your caliper free. That's what the pry bar is for. Okay, and there she be. All right, rotor off. Whee! That might be some of my rattling. Alright, so now we gotta get this knuckle off, or this bearing. It looks like there's 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. You're gonna access from the back side. Looks like a 12 point, I'm guessing a 14 millimeter. I don't really know. Oh, this is a 13 millimeter wrench. I'm gonna start over here. See. And it's not going to want to break loose either. So we'll grab our 17, do the same thing we did earlier. And leverage. Oh boy. Alright, let's get a ratchet. Keeping in mind, this is a 12 point socket. Alright, that does fit. I can't fit my 1/2 inch, but I can fit a 3/8. You guys want to switch sides? Right, so we're just on right here. Now we just got our 13 millimeter 12 point socket, a 3/8 with an extension. Woo! That sound is always scary at first because you're like, no, it broke. then you're like, oh goody, it came off. Oh yeah, she ain't been changed in a moment. There she goes. There she goes. I might change my mind. I might go get some hub assemblies anyway, just because these are rusted. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that they're bad, but I doubt they've ever been replaced. And the body of this thing has 200,000 miles on it, so maybe it's just time we replace them. Okay, there's one. Got 2 more to go. So we're gonna extend this one to the same thing. A little grunt action. There she goes. All right. If you like this ratchet, yeah, I'll link it down below for you. Oh boy. Come on. Yeah. 3 for 3. The hub is gonna have to come out. I'm gonna hammer on it just to try and get it to break free from the hub assembly, the knuckle. But it's not gonna fall down because you have this axle shaft seal. So I'm just going to get a little pry bar and a hammer and just try and break it loose, okay? Oh yeah, it's gonna come right off. See, separated already, nice. Oh, beautiful, guys. She might be rusted, but she's playing nice. There she goes. A couple more love taps with the 4-pound hammer that I used to call a 3-pound hammer. All right, so the bearing is out. I don't hear any ugly noises. Definitely has a flat spot. You can hear it every time it revolutions. It goes whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So yeah, we'll probably go ahead and replace it. All right, so theoretically, if life is still treating you good, this will pull right out. Oh lordy, would you look at it? Would you look at that? She pulled right out. Okay, so I can't touch the camera. So you can see, I hope you can see, the boot is shredded. If you look in there, you can see some dry spots where there's no grease riding. Overall though, it's very free spinning, so it's probably not the clickety-clackety, unless the clickety-clackety was just bouncing around in here. I don't know. Either way, boot's toast. You could try and replace it, or for like 100 and some, I think it was just over 100 bucks. We'll just replace them so we know they're new, we know they're good. I'm just gonna grab a little wire brush and try and wire this out. I'm gonna cover my caliper first just to keep dust and crap out of there. But let me grab a rag and a wire brush for that. We got our drill with the attachment for the brush. Don't fall. Got my PPE. We're gonna go to town. Don't breathe. That's also not good. Oh yeah. Ah. Woo, dusty. All right, I'm gonna take a break, remove my gloves so I can turn off the camera and let this dust settle and I'll be back. All right, so at this point, your CV axle, it's not like the Fords I've done in the past where you've seen those videos, where your CV axle is actually resting on a bearing inside here. These ones actually are supported by the wheel hub. What we're gonna do is, it's only 6:30 in the morning, so the shops aren't open, the auto store. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the other side out. Once that side out, it should be late enough we can run to both stores, get both new bearings. Now we're gonna go ahead and just put new bearings in here because I'm this far. I might as well just do it. We are going to do these ball joints at a later date, but not today because we have a alignment appointment that I need to get to, and I'll just do those with the tie rods later. So for now, we're going to go ahead and put in some new bearings. Those look like they got 200,000 miles on them and 20 years, so yeah. Let me pull the other side apart. I'll go ahead and slide this axle in, pull that side apart, run, get bearings, come back, and we'll put you back on video. So for example too, the other one, we could wiggle it, and this was going all over the place. This one's fairly solid. It's not solid, but fairly solid. I'm gonna slide this in. I like to do a bit of an angle upwards just to try and not knock out the seal on that side. If you feel resistance once you get close, that's probably the seal on the other side. Don't fight it too much, just wiggle it until she goes in. Of course, this is turned, which is gonna offset me. Might have to get in there and turn this straight, because this offset is gonna be in the way, I think. Yep. So let me lower this down. We'll turn the wheel over and we'll get that in. All right, we got this turned straight now. Had to go get the keys from inside. So now, should be able to just kind of wiggle this in place. Wiggle it, it goes almost all the way back. Something like that. I think you'll know when you put your hub up there, your bearing, if it's all the way back or not. You should know. So yeah, we're gonna leave that at that. I'm gonna do the other side off camera, exact same process, no difference. And I'll shoot you guys back up when we get bearings. All right, so I went to my local store. I grabbed a new hub assembly. What I like to do before I get carried away with new hub assemblies is just make sure that my lug nuts are going to thread on just fine. Most vehicles that I know of don't have an issue, but my Fords, they still. Alright, apparently it's cold and my batteries are dying in like 5 minutes. So new wheel hub assembly. I like to put my lug nut on just to make sure that it's going to thread on without a problem. Sometimes your thread pitch can be different. Okay, before I put this on, I'm going to put some grease on these splines. That's going to hopefully just keep it from rusting, honestly. You might be able to do anti-seize instead. I don't know what you want to do or what you could do. I just do the grease, because it's cheaper than the anti-seize, and I have lots of it. This is actually brakes part grease. Why am I using brake grease and not just general wheel bearing grease? There's not really a reason other than this has the stem and my standard grease does not have the brush, and it's cold out here. So I don't want to get my fingers all greasy. Right, wrong, don't know, don't care. That's what I'm doing. So now we're just, I'm gonna brush off all the dirt. I just put this on the ground. I'm gonna put this in place. I should make it up just perfect. Okay, not so much. So the other thing I just remembered I was gonna do is take some anti-seize and anti-seize the outside of this, for the exact same reason. Just to keep things from sticking later, hopefully. Because I'm probably going to be taking these off to do the ball joint soon. And I want to not like what I'm doing right now, but whatever. The off chance that I don't do ball joints soon, this will be easy to take off eventually. Theoretically. Alright, so back in. Okay, once we get these bolts in, hopefully those will help sink it together, so let's get that going. So you may notice I'm anti-seizing the threads. I'm also going to anti-seize the shaft, because that's all going to be sitting in metal on metal. So right, wrong, don't know, just what I'm doing. 2, torque it down to manufacturer specifications. There's 3. So that's on. Now I got to put our whatchamacallit on. Again, I'm just going to throw some of this messy ass group on here. Boom, boom. Thread our nut on. That should be nice and tight. Grab our cap. See if we can get our cotter pin in there. We can, beautiful. Needle nose. Okay, you can spread this however you want to. All right, now we can do our caliper after our rotor. Okay, just like always, I'm gonna coat this just a little bit. Try and keep these from seizing together. Good idea, bad idea, no idea. Just what I like to do. Whee! I don't think it actually affects anything because I think it all melts off when you start heavy braking. All right. Now if you're lucky, your caliper will slide right back on. I don't think it's going to, so I'm gonna grab a C-clamp and try and, should just wrap right around like so. Very good. We're gonna take our 18mm bolts. I'm just gonna reroute my brake lines, put them back where they were, clip them into place. All right, we are back in business, baby. That's all there is to it for changing your hub and your axle shaft, CV axle, whatever you want to call it. Pretty easy, not too bad. You can do it on jack stands. Guys, remember, if you want to support me, there's PayPal, Zelle links down below, as well as Amazon links to parts and tools. Check them out, it helps me out. Thanks, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, check out everything else. You know the drill. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.